All right, guys. So apparently I've pissed off the conservative e-girls once again, to the point that Lila Rose is messaging me she'll pray for me. I mean, isn't it annoying? Why don't the conservative e-girls just tell me to go fuck myself? I'd rather have that. That would be more honest, Lila. Now, what did Pearl do this time? So I put out a series of tweets. The first saying that corn has saved more marriages than it's destroyed. Now, I've noticed a trend of conservative e-girls saying corn, and you know what I'm referring to, is ruining society. Corn is just tearing society down. And I guess on its face, you might think yes. I mean, it's obviously not a good thing watching like some girl get gangbanged on camera. You know, it's not like we should celebrate this. But when you think about it further, it does really serve a purpose. Now, what purpose is that? Well, there are men in bad situations, and bad situations that their wives put them in. For example, there are wives that don't sleep with their husbands. There are also wives that get fat in marriage. And these are men that want to stick it out for the kids. They want to stay together because they want to do the right thing. Now, remember, feminism is weaponizing men's want to do the right thing against them. So instead of divorcing their wives, instead of cheating, they pull out some corn and get it taken care of. Now, remember, conservatives have no answer for the male sex drive. Men have a bajillion times the testosterone that women do. And so this always leaves men at a disadvantage in relationships because they want sex more than the woman. So when women are getting gangbanged and busting that shit wide open in college, the men are being iced out. Or the young men maybe not going to college or getting iced out. They used to have a wife at 21. Their sexual problem was taken care of for life. You know, again, most people can wait until marriage if you're getting married at 20. But the problem is we're waiting until like halfway through life. You know, our sex drives start at 14 to 16 years old. You start wanting to have sex. You can, push away that drive for a few years. But again, pushing that too far down the road is gonna make people weird. It kind of already is. Now, anyways, going back to the conservative e-girls, I think they really hate corn because all these women are making a bunch of money off of corn and it gets rid of their power. They can control their husbands way better when corn is not in the picture. When the guy can't just jack off to a 20-year-old, then he instead has to beg them for sex. Now, again, conservative women, I've noticed, tend to be even more controlling because they want to control that nothing bad ever happens to them. So they never want to give men the upper hand of sex. Once you have sex as a woman, then your burden of performance starts unless you're trapped in a legal contract. So a lot of conservative women are trying to obfuscate, I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but their burden of performance, being really nice, cooking, doing nice things for him, being a nice, good person. That's why a lot of times sluts, we might say they're ruining society, but a lot of times they're more in tune with what men want. They're dressed more feminine. They're better at flirting. They're just all around like feminine. Anyways, now the women don't see the irony in the way they are dressed. So if you look at Lila Rose, if you look at Allie Beth Stuckey, Candace Owens, all women that rag against porn, they say, porn is so evil, men just need to control themselves. And you see their visceral hatred for the male sex drive. I mean, that's part of what makes men men. They want to have sex, and that sex benefits us because when we're old and ugly, they still want to bang us with their sex drive. Now, all three of the women I listed wear a pound of makeup. They have Botox, and some even subtle plastic surgery. Tommy Lauren, another one. All the women have put thousands of dollars into their looks. Now, I'm not saying this is wrong. I don't even think it's a bad thing. Hey, if you want to look good for your husband, whatever. But you are trying to elicit lust from men by putting on makeup, by getting plastic surgeries. For example, blush lights up your face red because that's what your face flushes like during sex. And so the women are trying to make their faces look like they do during sex. And by the way, Lila Rose, I was supposed to do her podcast in person when we did a show together. And this was actually the only show that offered me a full-on makeup artist. Isn't that ironic? They're funding eliciting, like making women more beautiful, eliciting lust from men. But they say, if you go anywhere else for that lust, you're a bad person. And I want to say this is why I don't really like women representing any form of theology. When I see Candace Owens crashing out, nagging men, doing all that stuff, but you're representing the religion I grew up in, it makes me kind of feel some type of way. And that's really just what I've noticed with these women is they don't want men to go anywhere else for beauty. They want men to find them beautiful, but nobody else. And they can't stand that they've aged out. Because all these women, they're mid. Most men would, but you really know you've started to age out when men aren't doing that much for you anymore. Like when I was 20, men would wait a year with you, and not sleep. They'll marry you before sleeping, before they expect sex. At 30, not so much. Now, you have to do more to get male attention. And it's just very ironic to me that none of these women see the irony in criticizing men for watching porn when all of them participated in the problem. All of them got married after 25. So therefore, all of them married high status and high value men, icing average men out of the marketplace. All of them wear heavy makeup. Most of them have probably had Botox and some light plastic surgeries. All of them wear tight-fitted clothing. Candace Owens wears these like tight pants all the time. Allie Beth Stuckey, whenever she, and what they do is they wear these outfits that are just they're like very close to being slutty, but not. Like the dresses will be past the knees, but it'll be like skin tight, like Allie Beth Stuckey when she debates. And again, I'm not saying I am not one to come from a high horse in terms of, I played volleyball. We were in spandex. But my point is, none of you women are what you say you are. And the second thing is all the women, Candace Owens, Allie Beth Stuckey, even me to some extent, we're all DEI hires. If you truly believe in the natural order of people, which goes God, men, women, children, there's some stuff that men are just better at. It's pretty much everything. There's some stuff that you cannot do as a woman. And every single woman in that lineup has taken a position away from a man because nobody is going to convince me that Allie Beth Stuckey, Candace Owens, Brett Cooper, myself are just these super talented commentators that are just better than men. No, it's that we're monetizing beauty. It's much easier to have social media and gather attention as a female. But no women the women will say feminism is bad, porn is bad, but they'll never take away the things that benefit them. None of them, when they have children, will put away their channels. They won't do it. They'll all travel, even when they have kids. I even see these mothers going on tour right after you had a kid. You can't be at home and raise I think Gina Bontempo or whatever is the only woman I've seen somewhat put the social media away when she has a child. And by the way, I'm not saying they should, right? To some extent, women need to work like men are. But we have to acknowledge to some degree that all of the women and even the men at these companies are participating in feminism. And there's really no choice because the female dollar is behind everything. So everyone needs to cater to the female dollar if you want to make money in this economy. 80% of consumer buying decisions are women. But none of these women in order for men to step up, women have to step down. And none of the women will say, you know what? No, I won't take that Daily Wire position. That should go to a man. None of the women will say, no, I won't take that Blaze Media position. That should go to a man. If anything, they double down and then they say the men aren't good enough because they have these big egos where they think they're really smart, but they're not smart. They're just women in these positions. I don't even think I'm that smart, They'll probably clip that and make fun of me. But seriously, compared to men just have a natural like way of reasoning and logic that women, we just do not have. We cannot do what they can do. So anyways, that's my 2 cents. Porn is not, by the way, if you go on Reddit, a porn addiction you can get over in like 2 weeks. Society's running fine. I don't see men when they have women to sleep with, and the women are attractive and not fat, the porn addiction tends to go away real fast. Anyways, guys, like the video. Women, instead of complaining about your husband's porn addiction, get to the gym, get hotter, and I'll see you next time.